Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We'll just give it another moment to let all of the participants join us, and then we will kick off today's exciting announcement for the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund. Okay, looks like we have all of our participants. Thank you for joining us this morning for the 22nd announcement from the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund. And we would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that we are gathered on traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. The nations of the Treaty 7 region are Siksika, Piikani, Kainai, First Nations, who together form the Blackfoot Confederacy. The Chiniki, Bearspaw, Wesley First Nations, who altogether form Stoney Nakoda First Nations, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. The city of Calgary is also homeland to the historic Northwest Métis and Métis Nations of Alberta Region 3. We acknowledge all Indigenous urban Calgarians who have made Calgary their home. We're here today to announce a very important opportunity and partnership with our friends at IBM, who today are announcing the opening of the Western Canadian Client Innovation Centre, headquartered in Calgary, and the support from the Government of Alberta and the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund. The Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund agreement is for up to $5 million and will support the creation of at least 250 jobs, with the potential for up to 430 highly skilled jobs in Calgary over the next 5 years. Joining us today for this important announcement are Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondak, Tracy Bean, IBM Calgary partner. And now I'd like to pass the microphone over to Premier Kenney to have some opening remarks. Premier.
Thanks very much. Brad, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
All right. And can you see me? I think we're working on the video here. Sorry.
We cannot see you yet.
All right. We've got a lot of equipment and a lot of technicians here, so I think that'll be fixed shortly.
Premier, if I may, I don't want to go out of turn, but if you would like me to go ahead while you're waiting for your video.
I was just about to suggest that. So how about I, on audio, just set this up. It's a very exciting announcement today about IBM setting up a center of excellence here in Calgary. And until I get my text fixed, why don't we go to Mayor Gondak?
Thank you. I'd be happy to kick things off. Thank you very much, Brad, for the great introduction. It is incredible to be here with all of you for this exciting announcement for our city. This past year, I have been able to witness firsthand the growth of our tech sector in Calgary, and it was during one of the most tumultuous times that we have seen anywhere in the world. I'm very excited to see our city evolving into a tech and innovation hub. On behalf of City Council, I want to recognize the work that's being done by the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund to select and invest in companies that are driving economic development in our city. These investments are instrumental in achieving our goal of creating more than 1,000 new tech companies in our city over the next decade. To date, the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund has committed $68 million to a variety of projects in Calgary, which in turn has generated investment commitments of at least $445 million. And that's a figure that could go as high as $775 million, depending on how we can scale up these opportunities. Today, I want to congratulate Dave McCann and Tracy Bean and the entire IBM team on becoming the 22nd organization to receive funding through OCIF. This investment of up to $5 million will develop hundreds of skilled jobs, as Brad has mentioned, and we will continue to grow a diverse talent base for underrepresented communities in a high growth sector of our economy. A key element of this announcement is the creation of the IBM Sustainability Center, which will open in 2024. This center will help organizations accelerate their pathways to net zero, and it will continue to elevate Calgary's position as a world leader in energy transition and transformation. And having just returned from Collision in Toronto, I can tell you that people are definitely taking notice of Calgary, and they're all wondering how we're meeting with such incredible success in our economy. And it's always a pleasure to explain to them that it's because we have a very skilled and diverse workforce in our city. And that's a very important reason that IBM chose Calgary for this expansion. And highlighting success stories like this will continue the mission of demonstrating our city's strengths to global markets. On behalf of all of my council colleagues, congratulations to the IBM team. This is more great news for Calgary, and I'm just honored to be a part of this announcement today. And I will now turn it back over to our premier, who's fully functional. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, fully functional. Thank you, Your Worship. And it's great to be with you in virtually, but now with video. Today is an incredibly exciting day, another step forward for the massive growth of Alberta's tech sector that we have seen growing at a faster pace than almost anywhere in North America over the past couple of years, with the announcement by IBM of the location of a client center of excellence here in Calgary, bringing 250 high-paying tech jobs. Of course, IBM has always had a presence here in Alberta, one of the largest global companies of its kind, but this is a major step forward. I want to thank IBM for choosing Alberta, for choosing Calgary. This is a project that I first began talking to my friend Ayman Amuda at IBM as general manager for the Americas over 2 years ago. And I want to thank Invest Alberta for working with him and his team, the Canadian team at IBM, since March of 2020 on this decision. We had wished it would have happened earlier, but of course, so many things were interrupted by COVID. I also want to thank our partners in the city of Calgary for their contribution to this important investment. I think this is another sign of the diversification of Alberta's economy. Yesterday, we had some fantastic news, of course, with the first report on the first balanced budget in 7 years for Alberta, with nearly a $4 billion surplus. That was a huge fiscal turnaround, thanks in part to fiscal restraint, fiscal responsibility. We would not have had a balanced budget last year had it not been for fiscal restraint on the spending side. But it also shows the lift in revenues right across the economy. Obviously, we're being helped by strong commodity prices in our traditional industries, our largest industry like oil and gas. But the truth is that in the past 6 or 8 months, we've seen very little net employment growth in oil and gas, but huge employment growth, nearly 200,000 new jobs since the beginning of 2021 across the economy. And so much of that is happening in sectors of the economy that are really developing quickly, such as tech innovation, startup companies, and that's why today's announcement adds more momentum to, for example, the decision of Amazon Web Services to locate their, now I understand, $5 billion data processing center here in the Calgary region, the largest single capital investment in the history of the tech sector in Canada. We have seen the number of tech companies in the province triple since 2012 to more than 3,000, according to the Alberta Enterprise Corporation's 2021 Alberta Tech Deal Flow study. And we continue to see companies of all sizes build up and grow in Alberta, including Amazon Web Services, Rogers Shaw, that have recently confirmed their location of their Center of Excellence for Telecommunications Engineering in Calgary, of 500 new jobs. Emphasis, that recently opened their office, leading to eventually 2,000 new jobs. Infosys, Benevity, Simon, Jobber, Neo Financial, HCL Technologies, and many more. Venture capital tech investment in our province is breaking record after record after record, with the most recent being $500 million in the first quarter of this year alone. And Alberta's tech sector is maturing rapidly, and it's now a real driver of employment and diversification. We continue to position Alberta as a destination of choice for global tech investment. All of this is part of Alberta's recovery plan, a bold plan to build, to diversify, and to create good jobs. The job creation tax cut, the elimination of 200,000 regulations from the provincial government, going from an F to an A in the CFIB's red tape report card, the Innovation Employment Grant to incentivize new employment in the tech sector, the huge investment in investment promotion through Invest Alberta, which was a key part of working with IBM to secure this project, and so much more. So we are excited about what the future brings. I want to once again thank IBM for their confidence. I think they're going to find Calgary the best place in North America in which to do business. Once again, thank you to everybody who's worked on this great project, and we can't wait to see IBM's major expansion here in the fastest growing tech sector in North America.
Thank you very much, Premier, and couldn't agree more. It's exciting times for us. Now I'd like to ask Tracy Being, an IBM Canada partner, to say a few words as well. Tracy.
Yeah, thank you, Brad, and apologize for the headset. I want to make sure the sound was a good caliber. Well, listen, I am extremely proud to represent IBM Canada today for this announcement of the IBM Client Innovation Center here in Western Canada, with the commitment of growing plus 250 jobs in Calgary. You know, the expertise and the technology that we deliver from our center will not only, you know, help invigorate the city's technology sector and help diversify the economy. The lens that we have on this, it'll also help fast track and advance what's required in our market, that cross-industry digital transformation and application modernization needs to accelerate with our clients to help them improve their business models, not just for, you know, people in Alberta, but in Canada and across the world. You know, this announcement is exciting for many, many reasons, one of which is the terrific collaboration that I've actually, you know, in IBM has experienced with working with the government of Alberta and Invest Alberta, working with Calgary Economic Development team, who helped navigate us working with the city, and Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, because we all are aligned. We're aligned on a common goal to really, you know, make sure that we set up the center and we grow this innovation center within Calgary. The other reason why it's really exciting and I'm really proud of is this whole focus on sustainability. This is going to be distinct and different from our other centers, and it's going to have a significant impact on some of Canada's most important economic growth engines. Because of this, sustainability is becoming a critical consideration. In fact, we did an external survey not that long ago, 2,000 CEOs. 83% of the CEOs say sustainability is a strategic imperative, and follow that, investments are going to be committed to improve sustainability as part of their business plan to improve their results over the next 5 years. So this center, IBM, you know, center here in Calgary, will help our organizations accelerate this environmental and social goals and help create long-lasting impact with these commitments. Not just for, you know, their business models, but for the communities that they live in and the employees that we have, and also for the investors that we're ultimately accountable to. And we'll achieve this. And we'll achieve this with working with things in the areas and the delivery of services around management of climate risk, supply chains, optimizing our supply chains. We all know that's been impacted by COVID, energy and emissions. Now, another important and exciting element about this center that I'm personally passionate about is the investment on education and training employees. This will be a great experience for the people that we hire and bring into Calgary. And, you know, the Western CIC is going to be part of a family that we have of centers across Canada and North America. We have centers sitting in Halifax and in Montreal that I call them my sister centers. But there's a proven model that we have. We know how to deliver tech, but we also know how to pivot to do skills that are fit for future. And, you know, this is really, you know, you think about the priorities of a center, the client innovation centers, and you heard from the Premier and Brad and the Mayor, these are all common objectives that we have, that we really want to look at economic growth by way of job creation, but also, you know, investing in our workforce and skilling them. So I've been often asked, why did IBM decide to locate in Calgary? And, you know, the reasons are really not that complicated. In addition to the comments that I made earlier about the phenomenal partnerships that we've established here with the city and the province, you know, IBM has a strong successful history here. We've been here for over 105 years, and Calgary was actually singled out as a hub of innovation. Some of our most innovative technology services have been delivered from Calgary. And what we really want to do is, you know, build on that success and scale it. And scale it by way of, you know, building a CIC center there. So we're really excited to do that, and I'm very happy to be part of this announcement and bring the growth into the city and to the province. So thank you, Brad.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I can tell you, and I'd be remiss to not have a shout out to the amazing team at the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, who have worked with Tracy and her team on making this happen. And for us, the notion of having a mentor model for our city is exactly what we need at this juncture in our life cycle. And so the team has done an amazing job. And, investments like these really help more Calgarians be part of the city's ecosystem and growth around technology and innovation. And, IBM prioritizing career opportunities for equity deserving groups and tapping into our city's reskilling programs to build our talent pipeline is incredibly important for us, and incredibly proud of the work that the team has done. I'm now going to open up the floor for questions. If you do have a question, can you please submit it in the Q&A and we will then direct them. We do have a question, and maybe Tracy, this one would be for you. What's a Client Innovation Center and what happens inside of an Innovation Center?
Well, it's center, it's called, another terminology is a nearshore center, which means we have a location. So we're downtown Calgary, and we bring in professional hires and students. And our model is to, scale that capability by having people come into the office, working together on teams and projects. So the jobs that we do, we hire anything from testers, application developers, project management, PCO, and I think I've mentioned testers. So it's a whole gamut of skill set that you need to do to help deliver these offerings that we have to help our clients, move and, infuse artificial intelligence, leverage the hybrid cloud, and make their business models more effective.
Fabulous. Thank you, Tracy. The second, actually, I think you've answered this, but are there any other kinds of jobs, Tracy, that might come out of this, or training that might happen with respect to the center itself?
Other jobs, well, they're going to be technical. We're going to start, one of the recipes of success is not to try to be everything to everyone. There's going to be common underlying technical skills that we're going to be training. But as I made mention earlier, we're going to focus on what are the additional skills that we need to do to help deliver our sustainability offerings, like we mentioned in, management of climate risk and, how do we improve supply chains and infrastructure and operations. What I'm going to see, what I can predict is that we're going to need a lot more data analysis. Data is going to be very important. We're going to leverage data scientists. So I think we're going to pivot into going deeper in certain other skill sets to help us to be prepared to deliver and bring these offerings to market.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tracy. Premier, there's a question from Stephanie Thomas from CTV asking, how important is tech and IBM to diversifying Alberta's economy?
Well, it's incredibly important because the future of our economy is a digital future, and every industry is going to be a tech industry, an innovation industry. IBM is a service provider to all of these companies that are digitizing, that are automating, that are finding more efficient ways of delivering service with the application of technology. One of the largest and oldest firms in the entire industry. So for them to really grow their presence here is a vote of confidence. Let me be blunt. They've chosen to locate here. IBM is not a charity. IBM is a multinational, very profitable corporation. They make hard business decisions. This is not a decision to locate here just because Albertans are nice. It's a decision to locate here because they see growing demand to provide services in this part of the world, but also because we have made a very competitive offering. I can tell you, with the best of respect to Tracy, to my friend Iman, and everybody at IBM, they have been very careful in where they choose to make this investment. They have been looking at the whole range of incentives, the tax structure, availability of incentives for skilled labor, the labor market situation, the training picture in the region. They've looked at programs like the Innovation Employment Grant, the Jobs Now program, the overall tax structure, of course, the contribution that City of Calgary has made, and Alberta's immigration program that can attract skilled workers here. So I think this is a case study of how the province needs to work with municipality to create the best possible environment for major corporations in the tech space like IBM to say that this is the place to go, because they could locate investments and additional employees like this just about anywhere in the world. So I think this is a really important further shot in the arm for our growing tech sector. As I say, with other major global tech companies like Amazon Web Services creating a huge footprint here, what this is going to do altogether is to create what in the tech industry they call an ecosystem. That is to say, a point where you reach critical mass of employment, training, and investment in the tech space that creates a kind of synergy, a kind of where the sum is greater than the parts. And that's what's happening here right now. We're getting real liftoff in the tech sector. Today's announcement really helps to add to that.
Fabulous. Thank you, Premier. We have one follow-up question as well from Stephanie, which is, do you believe that this will launch and spawn others such as this? I'm sorry, Premier, that question was for you as a follow-up. Do you believe that these kinds of announcements and these centers will spawn and launch other types of centers in our city and our province?
I thought that was for Stacey, pardon me. The answer is yes. And you know, the announcement by Emphasis, Amazon Web Services, all those other companies, I think that's, as the mayor said, drawing attention to Calgary. Let's be blunt. Alberta, Calgary have had a brand around our largest industry, oil and gas, of which I am a huge supporter. But because of that, a lot of folks outside the province have not thought of us as having a vibrant tech sector. When companies like IBM and Amazon Web Services make investments here, it sends a message. And a lot of other people sit up and take note. You know, I was just down again in the United States. I can tell you the tech sector there are looking for places where workers are available, where they can train people up, that have functioning immigration systems, that have pro-business policy environments. And announcements like this today help us to go out and get their real attention. So it's just building on the momentum. I can tell you we are working on, through Invest Alberta, a number of other files. I'm hoping to do a couple of investment promotion trips through the United States, Europe, and potentially Asia over the summer and early fall to capitalize on that momentum and to land a few more of the projects that are fairly well advanced in the pipeline with Invest Alberta. And many of those we're cooperating with, of course, Calgary Economic Development. But there's other communities around the province that will be seeing these investments as well.
Fabulous. Thank you, Premier. Tracy, there's a quick question about where is the new center being built?
So the location is our current footprint downtown Calgary. The address is 227 11 Avenue Southwest. So through COVID in the last 2 years, everyone was looking to reduce their real estate footprint. We chose, especially with the hybrid model, we chose at a point to at the end of the year where we were renewing our lease, we chose not to decrease our footprint. We're going to retain what we have in Calgary. We've actually earmarked a component of the office to the growth for this center. So we're downtown Toronto, or downtown Calgary.
Whoa, Trace,
sorry. When I told the Premier I was from Toronto, the first thing he said to me was, "I apologize."
Tracy, we have a little bit of a harder question coming from Josh Aldrich, and the question is really about why would IBM require support from the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund to set this up? And I can answer that question as well, but did you want to take a first shot at that? And I can provide Josh with some color around why this is such an important investment from the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund for our community and the growth that we have planned for the city.
Well, I would describe it this way, Brad and team, was that the way these centers, I looked to the recipe of success of Halifax, which has been in place since 2013. And the success of the model is partnerships with government, partnerships with aligning our objectives of, economic development and investing in like the schools and the talent pool that's out there. So in order to, to spawn the growth, we need to make investments to build and scale So these are the recipes of success. It's the alignment with the government in terms of priorities and where are we going to align on where we source our talent pools, and that we're all aligned on the mutual objectives of the goals that we want to achieve.
Thank you. And I think from our perspective, we were very intentional on this investment and working very closely with Tracy and her team to understand how do we ensure that we provide opportunities for Calgarians. One of the most appealing facts for us was that the IBM program really does look to help retain some of our youth coming out of university to give them a chance to have a global career right here in Calgary. And the second part for us that was appealing was that it's really about a mentoring model for the city itself. So seasoned professionals are coming into Calgary, they're training, they're certifying a workforce that will help grow our ecosystem to be there. And I think the last thing from an OCIF perspective that was really appealing is that this wasn't a short-term decision. This is a long-term play, and this is a global decision that was made to locate in our community itself. So for us, the investment made a lot of sense for where we need to go as a community and what we need to do to make sure that our ecosystem continues on its path of momentum. There is one more question, Tracy, and I'm not sure if you can answer this for confidentiality reasons, but I will throw it out to you. It's a follow-up from Josh. Has there been any other provincial or municipal funds or grants taken from IBM to secure a Center of Excellence in Calgary?
You know, I'm actually not, I'm contractually not allowed and obligated to answer that question.
Thank you.
Well, I can jump in and say that we've worked closely with IBM and made an undertaking to make available up to $5 million of training support through the Jobs Now program that was launched as part of the Alberta Recovery Plan. And that is a wage training offset. So if IBM in this case makes a commitment to hire new people and skill them up, we will help to offset some of the training costs. So that's one of the many programs that we have available to, because I think Tracy will confirm that not just for IBM, but other tech companies, one of their primary issues or concerns, stumbling blocks, is availability of people with the right skills. And that's a problem globally. It's not just an Alberta challenge. And so our programs like Jobs Now and the Innovation Employment Grant are one of the ways that we respond to that. So that's part of the Alberta offering that we put on the table with IBM.
Thank you, Premier, and couldn't agree more that it's imperative for us to make sure that we stock the pond properly for Calgary to be successful for the long term. And Premier, there's one follow-up question again from Josh with respect to the $5 million in training. Is that in addition to the OCIF investment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, the audio is not perfectly clear here. I apologize, Josh.
No, those are the questions we have today. I want to thank the Premier for making time today. I want to thank Tracy Bean and obviously the Mayor for taking the time today in this exciting announcement, and look forward to working and building a relationship with IBM and the city. And I'm excited to see the growth that's going to happen. So thank you everybody for taking the time today. Again, Premier, Mayor, and Tracy, thank you so much for being part of this today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you.